Attention passionate Seattle, SEAHAWKS fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news now. Folks, buckle up, because what we're seeing right now is a seismic shift, a move that could redefine the Seahawks' defense and ultimately their chances of competing at the highest level. The Seahawks, sitting comfortably at 4-2, have been impressively resilient this season, especially on defense, where they're allowing just about 2-3 touchdowns per pass attempt. That's a solid number, especially considering how competitive the NFC West is. But behind the scenes, there's a story unfolding that could turn this team into an even more formidable force. The buzz is all about their interest in Derwin James from the Los Angeles Chargers, a player who's proven to be one of the most versatile and impactful safeties in the league. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, for starters, the Seahawks are aware of their vulnerabilities, particularly in their backfield. Post-injuries to players like Love, who's been a key piece, they've recognized the need to bolster their secondary with a player who can do it all: cover, blitz, play in the box, and make game-changing plays. And Derwin James fits that bill perfectly. The Chargers, sitting at 2-4, are in a bit of a tough spot. They're struggling on defense, allowing a whopping 29 points per game, and Justin Herbert's offensive line has been a sieve, allowing an average of 4-1 sacks per game. With Herbert's struggles, throwing 5 touchdowns against 9 interceptions, it's clear they need to shake things up, especially on defense. The Chargers are in a tough spot cap-wise, with just $2.8 million available, and they're looking to rebuild with youth, likely moving some pieces to free up space and focus on a rebuild. The main targets are players like Wallace, who has shown flashes but isn't quite consistent enough, and some draft capital. Their priority, however, seems to be on developing young talent and focusing on their future, especially with the possibility of tanking under Jim Harbaugh's coaching style. They're also eyeing some key players like Joey Bosa, looking to rebuild their defense around him, but the potential departure of Derwin James could be a significant blow. For the Seahawks, the move to acquire James would be a game-changer. They're now sitting with about $21 million in cap space, and this move would turn their defense into a hybrid nightmare, especially after the loss of Love. Derwin James, who's been an All-Pro 3 times since 2018, is a true, versatile predator. He's not just a safety. He's a linebacker-safety hybrid who can cover tight ends, blitz the quarterback, and make tackles all over the field. In 2025, he's been a beast, with 4 interceptions, 58 tackles, 5 sacks in just 6 games, and a PFF grade of 89. 6 top 2 safeties in the league. His impact on the field is measurable, an EPA per target of -0.18, an 85% tackle success rate, and a career WAR of +4. 3. What does this mean for the Seahawks? Well, at the end of the day, James's presence would add around 100 tackles to their total, significantly reducing the run yards allowed from 132 per game down to approximately 98. That's a massive difference. Plus, his ability to blitz more effectively, boosting blitz success by about 20%, would make the Seahawks' pass rush even more dangerous. When you combine him with the current secondary, especially with players like Rayshon Jenkins, the Seahawks could see their coverage stops jump from about 59% to nearly 78%. Historically, a player like James has been compared to Minkah Fitzpatrick, who was traded to the Steelers in 2019 and immediately boosted their secondary with over 130 tackles. James could do the same for Seattle, adding significant turnovers and disruption. The numbers are compelling. If you compare James to other safeties, he grades about 5 points higher overall and allows about 13% less yards after catch. For Geno Smith and the passing game, this translates into fewer underneath risks, meaning less space for opposing quarterbacks to target, and improved efficiency on third downs with a projected increase of about 9%. This move would essentially turn a vulnerable backfield into a dominant force, elevating Seattle's chances not only in the regular season, but also in the postseason. Now, let's talk about the big picture. The Seahawks, with their cap space and their current trajectory, are positioning themselves for a real push. The odds for a Super Bowl have shifted significantly, from +3,500 to +1,800, according to FanDuel. That's a huge jump and reflects the confidence that adding a player like James could bring. He's not just a solid safety, he's a disruptor, especially against mobile quarterbacks, which have become a staple in today's NFL. His postseason stats, averaging 2-3 sacks, show that he's a player who rises to the occasion when it matters most. Meanwhile, the Chargers seem to be in a different mindset. With a focus on youth, they're likely to explore trades, especially if they want to rebuild around players like Joey Bosa. Their defense, allowing nearly 29 points per game, needs an overhaul, and moving Derwin James might be part of that plan. For the Seahawks, this deadline, set for April 4th, is crucial. They're actively hunting for ways to strengthen their roster, and acquiring James could be a statement move, signaling their serious intent to contend right now. This move also makes strategic sense. The Seahawks have shown they're willing to be aggressive in the trade market. Their defensive schemes could be significantly enhanced with James's versatility, allowing them to switch from a more traditional coverage scheme to a hybrid, unpredictable one. Pairing him with Jenkins and other versatile defenders creates a nightmare for opposing offenses. It's about adding that extra layer of complexity and disruption that can turn close games into wins and wins into deep playoff runs. Looking ahead, if this trade goes through, it would be a clear indication that Seattle is all in. The team's coaching staff, led by Pete Carroll, has always emphasized defense and special teams, and adding a player like James fits perfectly into that philosophy. Plus, it sends a message to the rest of the league. Seattle is not just content with being competitive, they want to be champions. The AFC and NFC are loaded with talent, but with James in the fold, the Seahawks could elevate their game to a new level. Their odds of reaching the NFC Finals and possibly the Super Bowl would skyrocket, especially if he can replicate his postseason production, averaging 2-3 sacks per playoff game when the stakes are highest. And let's not forget the cultural impact. Derwin James brings leadership, experience, and a winning mentality. He's been a staple in the Chargers' defense, and his presence in Seattle could inspire the rest of the team to elevate their game. Young players like Tariq Woolen and other defenders would have a veteran to learn from, and that kind of mentorship can be invaluable in a playoff push. Of course, this move isn't just about immediate impact. It's about setting a foundation for the future. The Seahawks are in a position to make bold moves, and acquiring a player like James could be the catalyst that pushes them over the top. Imagine a defense that's not only elite against the run, but also capable of creating turnovers and applying pressure in all situations. It's a recipe for success, especially in the high-stakes environment of the postseason. So, as we approach this critical deadline, the buzz is growing. Will the Seahawks pull the trigger and land Derwin James? The signs point to yes, and if they do, it could be one of the most significant moves of this NFL season. It's a bold statement that Seattle is serious about contending, and that they're willing to make aggressive moves to get there. For fans, it's an exciting time, watching this saga unfold, knowing that your team is on the verge of making a move that could define their season and possibly their legacy in the years to come. The NFC West is watching, and so is the entire league. This is what makes football so thrilling, those last-minute, game-changing decisions that shape history. And now, Seattle Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Seahawks. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Seattle Seahawks news.